welcome to episode 80 of Pinnacle FC. Gareth Wheeler, Jake Osgathorpe with you on Matching Zip-Up Day. I think we coordinated our outfits on this podcast, which will just determine in a few moments' time whether we will coordinate our picks and plays. For this episode, we're recording this on Friday. We're looking ahead to next week in the Champions League. The league phase is done and dusted, and now we're on to the knockout phase of the competition. 16 teams, 8 matchups, 8 other teams waiting to see who will advance in the home and away ties. So we're going to go through the 8 matchups, share our potential picks for the first leg, and overall potentially to qualify as well. You up for the task, Jake? Because the Champions League has been kind to both of us thus far this campaign.
Yeah, definitely up for it. I've got looking through the slate. I see a lot of dogs barking this first leg. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the way I'm leaning throughout most of these, because I do think the home field advantage is even more important now. We have no away goals rule, which ultimately means that if you're playing away from home the second game, you kind of want to have at least a lead to kind of protect, or also. So I think we're going to see quite a few of the home underdogs kind of getting a result in the first leg. I hope so anyway, because most of my board is home teams to do all right. So
we shall see. I mean, a reminder, these are teams 9 through 24 in terms of their placement in the Champions League table. The 8 matchups that we're looking at, the Tuesday fixtures for this upcoming week: Galatasaray, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, and Atalanta. Monaco and PSG, 2 Ligue 1 teams doing battle there. Benfica and Real Madrid. Remember the way that match day 8 wrapped up with Benfica with the goalkeeper goal late. 4-2 victory over Real Madrid, which meant that late goal by the goalkeeper meant that they advanced in this competition, and they meet a familiar foe as well again. And the Wednesday fixtures: Qarabag, Newastle, Bodo, Glimt. What a story they've been, taking on Inter Milan, Olympiakos, Leverkusen, and Club Brugge and Atletico Madrid. So that's the slate that we'll dig into. A reminder, all the markets that we use are courtesy of Pinnacle. Bet smart, bet Pinnacle. How do you want to approach this, Jake? Do you want to maybe take a look big picture on the way things ended, or just dive straight into the individual matchups?
Yeah, let's dive straight in, and yeah, go game by game, because I think they're quite a lot of really good matchups actually.
Interesting ones, yeah. Well, let's start up with the Tuesday slate then, and allow you to kind of pick which game maybe stands out to you the most out of the 4 on the Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's got to be the Benfica Real Madrid game. I mean, the way it finished last time out was just
crazy.
Yeah, it was cinema, wasn't it? I mean, the fact that nobody at Benfica realised that they actually needed one more goal to qualify until the literal last kick of the game. No one on the field. Yeah, Jose Mourinho's there subbing defenders on, thinking he's just got to hold on to a lead. He's like, no, got to go and win this, and then the goalkeeper goes up and wins it. Yeah, Real Madrid, I think, lost in all that kind of furore and the way it finished was just how good Benfica were on that night, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them do similar, because I think they're a difficult matchup for Real Madrid. Don't forget, it wasn't like just a must win for Benfica. Real Madrid were in a must win situation as well if they were to finish in the top 8, but Benfica outcreated them on XG. They won the shots battle, won the shots on target battle. They created 8 big chances to Real Madrid's 3. So it was no fluke that Benfica ended up coming away with a victory. And yeah, I think it probably goes against every fibre of his being, Jose Mourinho. But I think that they're going to have to attack here, and I think that's the best chance of getting anything from the game, really, or from the tie and advancing. Is actually taking the game to Real Madrid, because that is where they are weakest at the moment, is in defence. Still missing key players. They're very easily to play against, especially given like Benfica's counter-attacking capabilities. Missing 2 players as well through suspension, who got sent off in that last meeting, Asensio and Rodrigo. Jude Bellingham's injured. He's going to be out for a while. Remains to be seen if Alaba or Rudiger are fit enough to come into the lineup here. So, yeah, there's a lot to like about Benfica for me here, and I'm surprised that we're getting a half a goal start as the line. at minus 107, and I'm more than happy to take a bet on that because, as I said at the start, these home teams, especially ones that are playing against like Europe's so-called elite, they are going to have to win their home game, basically, I think, to have any chance of advancing. So I'm more than happy to take Benfica to avoid defeat in this one.
Wow. I just have a hard time wrapping my head, one, around what actually happened in that game. Two, convincing myself that you can replicate that. Like it was such a bizarre one because other than that, the Champions League campaign for Benfica wasn't very good, was it? I know that Mourinho stabilized things to a certain degree, but as much as I understand the reasons why to fade Real Madrid in this matchup, I can't fully get there. This was the one tie, to be fair to you, Jake, that at least for the first leg, I think I'm staying away. And the odds are crazy, even to qualify. How much of a favorite Real Madrid are here to qualify? Market minus 519 on Real Madrid to qualify. Are they that much of a lock to qualify from this fixture? I hardly think not. But I'm just having a really difficult time convincing myself that I can back Benfica. They're third in the Portuguese top flight right now. It's been a stagnant season. I don't think that they have a lot of top end talent. And the Jude Bellingham injury is interesting for me because it might even be preferable in order to bolster the midfield just in terms of what that kind of shape looks like and just play the two in attack in terms of Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Rodrigo, not a huge miss for me out of the team. Bellingham, obviously a top player, but the composition of this team, I think they need a little bit more defensively. And if one of the aforementioned players, Alaba Rudiger, can come back in the team, I think it mitigates the loss of Asensio as well. So I lean to making a Real Madrid play just to win outright at minus 109. But I mean, I don't love that play. And the total, I mean, this game, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1-0, 2-0, 4-3. I just feel that this entire fixture is just going to be very unpredictable. So I don't love this game. I love how you have conviction, but it's just a no-go zone for me. It's just watch and enjoy, and we'll see what it means big picture in terms of what this tournament looks like. I'd be shocked if Real Madrid don't advance. But at minus 519, I think the price is way too inflated. There's no good number here. I don't like the number for the totals. I don't like any of the markets that are available, to be honest. So yeah, that's it.
It is worth. I know it was Real Madrid versus Man City, but we did lose a big team at this stage last season, and we don't have any marquee fixture this time around where it's like Europa Elite versus Europa Elite, but I still think one of these so-called bigger teams is going to get knocked out, be it Juventus, be it Real Madrid, Dortmund, maybe even Inter. We're going to lose. I'd be hugely surprised if it was chalk and everybody who was a really strong favourite progressed, because as we know, over two legs anything can happen. I give Benfica a real fighting chance to even advance, to be honest, because I do think they're a very, very difficult matchup for Real Madrid. And then you throw in the Jose Mourinho sprinkle, the little dust that he's got there. He might be the Real Madrid manager at the start of next season. You never know. There's still some needle there as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more head loss from Real Madrid, which obviously sways things.
I just think Real Madrid had to navigate their way through this competition with cluster injuries at the back. Their defense was nowhere near what they have now. A lot of those players have come back in. I know that the match day 8 is that's what's going to predicate a lot of people's thinking heading into this game. I just don't know if that's for me. That's a one-off, just a one-off type game. I'd be shocked if it played out the exact same way. So okay, you mentioned Juventus. They could be a team that's vulnerable here. I think that this is a difficult tie. Galatasaray atop the Turkish Super League right now. They've had some good results, including ones at home. Beat Liverpool at home in this competition. You can find them for the first leg plus 250 to win, plus 258 on the draw. And if you want to back Juventus away at plus 106, I think this is going to be a really difficult first leg for Juventus. And when you're talking about things not being chalk and maybe there being an upset, perhaps this is the place that you can find it. They did bring in Noah Lang to provide a little bit more attacking prowess into this team as he made the move from Napoli. It looks like Leroy Sané is going to be back available for Galatasaray as well come this weekend. It's a little bit touch and go. He's been dealing with an injury, but it looks like he could come back into the team. And at home in that stadium, they're just a very good defensive team. They don't really give up much. It's a difficult place to go play. What do you make on the first leg of this tie and just in terms of the matchup overall?
Yeah, same sentiments for me as Benfica. I think that the gulf in quality between the two teams is not as big as what the odds reflect. I'm surprised you're getting a plus 250 for Galatasaray to win. I didn't think they'd be favourites, but I didn't think they'd be that big. And yeah, again, same bet for me. Just taking Gala with a half a goal head start at minus 124. They've only lost twice at home all season in all competitions. Just to go on your point of how good they are at home. And in the Champions League, they've, like I said, they beat Liverpool. They drew with Bodo Glimt to obviously finish in the top 24. They beat Bodo Glimt. They drew with Atletico Madrid as well. And Juventus, they're not the best travellers. I mean, they've won winning 4 away from home in the Champions League. They drew with Villarreal, which I think was Villarreal's only point of the entire league phase.
I think so.
Drew with Monaco as well, yeah. who I know that was the final game, but that if Juventus won that, they might have sneaked into the top 8, but drew there against a poor team and obviously lost to Real Madrid. So, yeah, there have been signs of improvements for Juventus, but I'm not ready to start thinking that they should be near even money to win it away at a very, very difficult place in Galatasaray. I mean, there's very few teams go to Galatasaray and get a win. Such a hostile environment. It's very difficult to play football. So, yeah, you give me this half a goal start for Galatasaray, I'm going to take it.
I also like the under in this game. I know in Serie A, Juventus have really picked things up and started to be in the goals, but Galatasaray haven't really conceded much over the course of this tournament, and their XG and their expected goals against numbers are very low in relatively speaking to what we saw over the league phase, which was a lot of goals. I think that my favorite, I'm fine playing Galatasaray in the handicap here, but I also like on just the Asian goal total. You know, the total set at 2.75. I'm fine to buy that down to 2.5 and play the unders at plus 105 to get a little bit more juice. I think a 1-0, 1-1. This game has it written all over it. So that would kind of be my approach to this. Like across the board, 1-0 at home to Liverpool, 1-1 against Atletico Madrid, a really attack-minded side who also concedes a lot of goals away from home as well. So the strength of them playing at home, I know it's a chaotic environment, but the play on the field generally isn't that way. It's much more cagey and tight and physical. So yeah, I like either one of those plays. I think I might side with playing under the total of 2.5 in this one as my favorite play. And it might be worth a dabble on Galatasaray to qualify at plus 258. I know they haven't been great away from home, but Juventus, it hasn't been entirely convincing, has it been over the course of the season? So a plus 258, that's a number that at the very least piques my interest and might warrant a small play. Because when you mentioned those big teams not going chalk, Juventus is one of the first teams I look to in this scenario. Anything else there, or shall we move on?
Get to the next one.
To the champions, PSG, taking on Monaco. Monaco have been dreadful defensively in this competition, in league play as well. And PSG finally looks like Luis Enrique has the majority of weapons back available to him. And that's another side that's, I think, the fixture list, the fixture buildup, playing in the summer through the season and obviously winning the Champions League next season. I think it's really taken its toll. But now all of a sudden, Enrique has his players back. A disappointing end to their league phase has made them play these extra 2 games, which probably won't be beneficial long term. But in terms of this, I mean, they are massive favorites to qualify minus 12-15. Jake, is this matchup that one-sided for you, including this opening fixture?
If Adi Huta was still in charge of Monaco, no, I would probably be looking at giving Monaco half a chance, but they bizarrely got rid of him after a very small run of bad results. And it's kind of spiraled ever since, really. They've really struggled in the league. They've dropped out of the top 6, top 7. I think they're mid-table now in Ligue 1. And if you think back to last season, obviously PSG finished in the playoff round last season as well. They also played against a fellow French team in Brest, and Brest were a mid to bottom half team as well at the time. And they absolutely destroyed them. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see similar. Like I said, if Huta was in charge, they actually beat PSG in the league earlier this season at the Principality. Then I would give them half a chance, but very, very difficult to see past them. The question marks around whether they can actually win the competition back to back and the futures. The main issue I have with them is the fact that they're actually in a title race this season, and that could be something that stalls them a little bit, because they're going to have to be fully concentrating on the league as well. Whereas last season they had the title wrapped up already pretty much at this stage. They were like 15 points clear. So the fact that they're in a title race sort of makes me hesitant to back them in the future market. But you never know, Lens might fall away and it might turn into another canter, in which case it wouldn't be a surprise to see them go back to back.
Yep. Any bet for this game?
No, this is the only one on the Tuesday that I don't have a bet for.
It's interesting. I was trying to find the best way to approach this. Monaco to fail to score in this game, plus 178. I can't fully get there. If you think that there's going to be goals in this fixture, and generally PSG games, especially if you look back to last campaign when they really stepped on the gas, and now they have Dembele back in the team and Barcola. Now there's like some rotation. Barcola's been around, but they found other solutions. PSG to win and over the total of 2.5. I mean, a lot of money's come in on this. It's bought all the way down to plus 110. That would probably be the way that I would go, even for this first away leg. I don't think it's a bad matchup for PSG, honestly. And the way that Monaco defend is just, I can't back on them keeping a low total in this game. So that would be the best way that I would approach this, but I'm not approaching it with a ton of conviction based on the numbers that are available. Perhaps Borussia Dortmund and Atalanta speaks to you as well. Dortmund continue to be a very good team at home as they look to close the gap between them and Bayern Munich somehow, some way in the Bundesliga table. That might be more far reach, but this is a team that continues to do well in the Champions League year in, year out. Atalanta, it's been a weird season. It seems like they've hit a good patch of form, but is it a case of too little, too late? Potentially. What's in the markets for you for this fixture?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lean towards over the total, minus 118, and the total's at 2 3/4. But the more I look at it, the less I like it, because Atalanta's away games have been very fine margin, low scoring recently. All of the last 5 have gone under this total, and they've had 3 have gone under 1.5. So they've been really, really stingy away from home. If anything, I'm probably looking more at just a Dortmund win at plus 109, to be honest. I think that could be where the value lies. Atalanta, they were another one that kind of, not so much chokes, but they were in the top 8, and the last 2 match days against Bilbao and Union Saint-Gilloise, 2 teams that finished outside the top 24. If they win 1, draw 1, they probably finish in the top 8 and don't have this game. And they really did. They choked, basically. They lost the home game against Bilbao that threw them off, and then a really bad performance in Belgium. So, I'd be looking at backing Dortmund plus 109 is what I'd be doing on this one.
That's my play as well. It's a little bit of a strange one, selling Lookman long-term maybe made a little bit of sense, but ahead of this competition, I just don't think it does, especially when De Ketelaere is not fully fit. And then you kind of look at that front line, what they used to have based upon what they have now. It's just a very different team from that very open, free scoring team that we saw over the course of last campaign. I think they're limited. I think they're going to be challenged going to Dortmund, a team with these players. I know that there's still some young players in the side, but they're experienced in this competition, and there are still a very good side at home. Regularly concede. Again, it's the most straightforward play just to play Dortmund to win this game at plus 109. And that's the way I'll approach things. I'll stay away from who to qualify. Really interesting on Pinnacle, both ways to qualify minus 111. So not enough to get me involved really on either side, especially considering how even this should play out over the two legs. But certainly Dortmund at home, I'll back them over the course of the first leg. So. Okay, those are the Tuesday fixtures. Let's move on to Wednesday. Not sure where you might want to start. Well, let me pick. Let's go up to the Arctic Circle because Bodo Glimt, I mean, it's not just that they qualified beyond the league phase of the Champions League. It's how. This team has been brave. They've been good on set pieces. They're a really watchable side just in terms of the way they play their attacking football. And now they get the finalist from last year's competition in Inter coming, where they're obviously substantial underdogs. You can back Bodo Glimt in the first leg at plus 357, the draw at plus 321, and to back Inter minus 146. Who would have thought? Minus 146 Inter going to Bodo Glimt to qualify Inter minus 702. And the total for the first leg is set at 3 with the over not providing much value at minus 124. How are you looking at this tie, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite remarkable that Bodo Glimt are here, to be honest. I mean, they started the Champions League. They were 2-0 down to Slavia Prague after about an hour and fought back to draw 2-2. And that point ended up proving crucial to draw with Tottenham as well. But yeah, they needed to pick up 7 to 9 points over the last 3 match weeks against Dortmund, Man City, and Atletico Madrid, and they managed that, which I think is phenomenal. Really, I mean, to go to Atletico and win is some feat. I mean, we all know that the home base is where they're at the best because they've got such an advantage with the temperature, weather, plastic pitch. But yeah, to go away from home, get a point at Dortmund and beat Atletico, it does show you that this team are pretty legit. And yeah, you have to give them a fighting chance here in this first leg to do something. And I say that with, as I've said, you've got the plastic pitch, which is a real leveller. We saw that in the FA Cup not long ago as well. Macclesfield against Crystal Palace. Like, these top teams aren't used to playing on plastic pitches. And yeah, the temperature is very much in their favour in the climate. But also the thing that's probably goes under the radar is that Bodo Glimt, they're well rested. Like, the Norwegian season finished back in November. So people might think that's a negative because they might be out of practice, but they're playing friendlies, they're keeping warm, keeping in shape. It didn't bother them either. They weren't playing when they beat City and Atletico Madrid, but just means that all their players are fresh. They don't have the rigours of an intense weekend match as Inter do. I think Inter have got a big game this weekend. We're obviously recording this on the Friday. They have a big game. Then they have to travel all the way up to Norway and take on a Bodo Glimt team who have been very, very good at home. I mean, as I said, they beat City, drew with Spurs. They were narrowly beaten by Juventus in a game they created loads of chances. And the same with Monaco. They were the better team in that game. And yeah, Inter, it is slightly dangerous to oppose them because they're such a free-scoring team and Bodo aren't exactly the tightest at the back. But I do think there's definite reasons to look at backing Bodo on the handicap. I mean, it's 3.25 of a goal at minus 102, which I think is a very bettable. And I also perhaps wouldn't put anybody off backing Bodo's team total at plus 178. So that's Bodo to score 2 or more goals, something that they've managed in 2 of their 3 home Champions League games against Juve, against Man City, and against Spurs.
I've had a good old debate with myself heading into this one because I think convention would dictate in the way that Bodo Glimt plays. And you said it, they've had all this time to plan for just playing one opponent, and the home field is a considerable advantage, and they're really good style of play and some really good players as well. It means that Bodo Glimt is likely to score in this game. But the way that Inter have played over recent weeks, it's a far cry from how they played earlier in the season when they were kind of conceding goals for fun. Now they've really put the clamps on and they played some poor teams, but they haven't given away anything. Like, just in terms of the expected goals against, it's been minuscule for Inter. But you're right. They do play Juventus on Saturday. That is a big fixture as they, hope to win the Scudetto. And I've leaned on to the side of the argument that you've fallen on as well. I would have loved to have seen this handicap end up at 1. I think I would have been a lot more comfortable backing Bodo Glimt. So I'm going to look to the total. I'm going to back Inter in the fact that they've been there, done that. They have superior talent, and I think that they can win a game that both teams score in. So I think that that's where you're finding the best value. Both teams to score, yes, and Inter to win at plus 198. And I'm just following the number there more so than anything else. I think that's what convention would dictate, that there's going to be goals and Inter will maybe get into a little bit of a scrap, but come out on top here. We saw that with numerous games featuring Bodo Glimt in this competition when good teams would come up there. I mean, throw the City game aside, that wasn't a full, like the City squad that went up there. It's not going to resemble the quality that Inter is going to bring when they play. And I don't think that Inter will take them lightly. So both teams to score, yes, and Inter to win at plus 198. That's the best way of approaching this game from where I sit. Elsewhere, Qarabag, I mean, they've been a great underdog story as well. I don't think many people gave them a puncher's chance of getting through to the knockout phase. They take on Newcastle, and aside from the last match day when they went to Anfield and got smashed, Qarabag were competitive, particularly in their home fixtures. Newcastle have been on a little bit of a wobble as of late. Yes, they beat Spurs last weekend, but everyone's beating Spurs these days. So what do you make of the underdog in this game? If you're like the dogs this week, what do you think about a long trip out to Qarabag for Newcastle?
Yes, I'm not pulling the trigger on Qarabag to win or to cover a handicap. I mean, this is one of the bigger handicaps of the week at plus 1.25, but I do think they'll score. And I think both teams to score is the bet here at minus 112. So take all the result out of the equation just in case we do get an upset. I think there's going to be goals at both ends. I mean, Newcastle, they're going to want to, if they can, try and wrap this up here, meaning that they can rotate at St James's, given the schedule's so hectic. But the Azerbaijani team, defensively they're all over the place, as they showed against Liverpool. I mean, they were really bad. They basically, I mean, Virgil van Dijk got 3 assists, which kind of tells you all you need to know. They basically were just passing it to players and they were dribbling through the team. But they have scored 2 or more goals in every home game in the Champions League, which is some feat, which includes Chelsea as well.
Chelsea, yeah.
So it's not like they've just played rags. I know they played Frankfurt, Ajax, and Copenhagen, who didn't obviously make it to this round. But 2-2 draw with Chelsea is a good result. I know they made some changes there. But Newcastle, like I've been saying it all season long, they're not very good travellers. They don't win a lot of football matches on the road. I think it's 5 in 18 this season, all competitions. So I'm not ready to trust them. But they've scored in all 4 of their away games. Both teams have scored, landed in 3 of the 4 away games in this competition. So for me, this is going to be my best bet, my favourite bet of the card. Both teams to score at minus 112.
Okay, I have a different version of that. I mean, in terms of expected goals against, only Bodo Glimt and Kairat Almaty gave up more in terms of expected goals against over the course of those 8 over the course of the 8 league stage fixtures than Qarabag. So I'm with you on the goals. I'll just approach it a little bit different in case one of these teams just kind of completely blows a tire and it just completely goes one way. 6 out of the 8 games for Qarabag, by the way, 4 goals or more were scored in them. So the total is surprisingly a little bit low for me at 2 3/4. Let's just bump that up to 3 and play that at plus 105. Again, one of my favorite bets, if not the favorite of the week as well, just playing the total in this first leg. And Newcastle should be in position where they come back home to St. James's Park and advance against a difficult Qarabag side. All right, Club Brugge and Atletico Madrid, the penultimate game of the 8. Club Brugge has been a very good home side of this competition. Their away travels have been a nightmare. Same thing goes for Atletico Madrid. And now there's the added ingredient of Atletico Madrid are coming in on a little bit of a roll and boosted by the fact they just beat Barcelona in the Copa del Rey this past week. 4-0 was the final, handing Hansi Flick his biggest loss as manager of Barcelona. Just incredible there. Club Brugge, a significant underdog at home, which I'm not really agreeing with the fact that they should be. I think this is a really difficult first leg away at a difficult place, a home side that continues to bring the goals on a regular against a traveling side in Atletico who continue to concede on the regular. Are you looking at things in a similar way as I?
Yeah, definitely. My first bet I had down here was Bruges on the handicap. So half a goal start. Bruges avoid defeat. We get a payout. That's at -109. As you mentioned, they've been really, really solid at home. They've got goals in them. There's only Arsenal that choked them out. Arsenal were the only team that went there and just absolutely just dismantled them in a 3-0. But they drew 3-3 with Barcelona, hammered Monaco 4-1. Obviously that big game against Marseille that they had to win. They went and won their 3-0 quite comfortably. So I think it's a very difficult first leg for Atletico Madrid, who, they're not very trustworthy travellers. I mean, just one winning 4 Champions League away games, which came against PSV. They looked very, very good against Barcelona in that Copa del Rey, but that was at home. And they have a Madrid derby before this as well with Rayo Vallecano. So, yeah, that has to come into it a little bit. But, yeah, I think this is it's not the same, but I'm getting very similar vibes to last year. If you remember, Bruges played Atalanta at this stage, and everyone was very, very hot on Atalanta, thinking, this is going to be quite a comfortable game. And Bruges absolutely hammered them over 2 legs. Granted, they got hammered themselves when they got through to the last 16, but I just think this is going to be a closer tie than what the odds suggest, especially in this home game. As you said, Bruges don't travel well either. So when it gets to the Metropolitano, you would expect Atletico to turn around any deficit or take a lead or progress ultimately. But Bruges on the handicap for me, and I would also look at the goals as well. Over 3's the total at +104. Bruges home games have brought the goals. I mean, every single one of the home games has had at least 3 goals in it. The last 2 were exactly 3. Before that, we had a 6 and a 5. So wouldn't be at all surprised to see this go really, really high scoring. I mean, Bruges good going forward, poor defensively. Atletico Madrid have got a lot of tools in forward areas that can hurt you, and also have shown that they're a bit shaky at the back. So Bruges and goals for me.
It's not just in the Champions League that they score a lot of goals at home. In the Belgian Pro League, 3 in cup competition, 4. These are recent home games: 3-3, 4, 2-2. The Arsenal one was 0, but before that it was. I mean, you just go down the board. Like, this team just scores goals at home, and they have some really good attacking talent. That's why I'll just focus on the Bruges team total. It's the best number that I can find. Over 1.5 goals at +168. I think that's a really good bet, especially in a game that I think Bruges, they understand that they have to come away with the result and score goals. Maybe not even just win by 1 if they want to go back away in the second leg in advance. So that's the best way that I can approach this game. Bruges on the team total over 1.5 at +168. Last, certainly not least, Marinakis has had a nightmare at Nottingham Forest this season. Like, 4 managers, what's going on there? But his Olympiakos side has done quite well in the Champions League, got the job done on the final match day, and now they take on, for me, a preferable opponent in Bayer Leverkusen. They're at home in the first leg, and actually, just in terms of like all underdogs, because it's a wash between Dortmund and Atalanta, the shortest odds are on Olympiakos as an underdog to qualify of all the other fixtures. What do you make of this tie in general? Leverkusen have run hot, they've run cold, and they've been everything in between, making them a little bit of a wild card entering this fixture. But how are you seeing things play out?
Yeah, I have no bet for this one. Like you said, it's quite difficult to assess. I mean, these two played each other not long ago in the Champions League, and Olympiakos won 2-0 at home. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them win this home leg, because they are a very, very good home team. It's a tough place to go. The atmosphere is absolutely mental when they get up for these big nights. Olympiakos -0.25 on the handicap could look interesting at +104, but on paper, Leverkusen have got better quality on the pitch, and if it clicks for them, they probably get a result. So, yeah, I just kind of left this one alone. Like you said, the Dortmund Atalanta is probably the closest matchup, but this is not far behind in terms of level of teams. And I think if Leverkusen get a result in this first leg, they probably advance. Which, as I said at the start of the show, the emphasis really is on these home dogs to get a result in this first leg. Otherwise, it probably is kind of not all over, but the chances of them overturning something on the road against these, bigger with opponents with more money, more resource, fans that are going mental, I think it's going to be very difficult. So I'm definitely will be leaning home side Olympiakos, but no official play.
Leverkusen had chances in that 2-0 victory during the group stage. I've watched a little bit of that game, but I do know about Olympiakos because it's a difficult place to go. They don't really concede much. The thing is, they don't score a lot of goals because they're not that dynamic either, but they're a well-organized side. I think in the first leg, I just would back the under. And under 2.5 at -109 would be my best way. I think that Leverkusen's mandate will be to keep it close and try to take advantage of their home field advantage. Olympiakos, 4 goals scored, 9 conceded away from home. Very different away side than they are at home. And for Olympiakos, I think the mandate's a 1-0. Go on and take some sort of advantage and then kind of park the bus going away in the second leg to Leverkusen. I wouldn't mind a dabble on +126. I would have hoped for a little bit more juice there, but under would most certainly be my play for at least the first leg at -109. Okay, so those are the matches that are upcoming in the Champions League in this knockout phase. Let's go to the big board. What are your best bets? We have up to 5 units to play with and up to 5 bets to make. How are you slicing and dicing this, Jake?
I'm gonna go 2 units on both teams to score in Qarabag Newcastle at -112. I'm gonna trust the Arctic Circle, the plastic pitch, and the rest that Bodo Glimt have over Inter and back them on the handicaps. That's +3/4 of a goal at -102 for a full unit. I'm going to do a unit on Dortmund to win at +109 against Atalanta, and I'm going to trust my mate Jose to get one over on his Real Madrid team again. I think if there's anybody that can set up to stifle Madrid and hit them on the counter attack, it's that man. And you never know, the goalkeeper might score again. But Benfica +0.5 a goal at -107.
Your mate Jose, are you both big football heritage guys? Is that
we are
it?
all about the heritage, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go 5 plays, 1 unit each. Only 1 play on the Tuesday and 4 on the Wednesday. Let's go with Galatasaray Juventus under 2.5. We'll move that line down from 2 3/4 to 2.5 at +105. We'll go over the total in Qarabag Newcastle, and we're going to bump that up to 3 at +105. We'll go Inter to win and both teams to score yes in the Arctic Circle at +198. We'll go Olympiakos Bayer Leverkusen under 2.5 at -109, and Club Brugge to score twice over their team total of 1.5 goals at +168. Follow along across our social media accounts. Join the conversation on the subreddit page, Pinnacle Sportsbook as well. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening, please hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be back next week with our overall look at what's going on across European football, and the Premier League is back next weekend as well. Hoping for a good weekend of profit for you, Jake, and for everyone that's been listening and watching this podcast. On behalf of Jake and everyone here at Pinnacle, I am Gareth Wheeler. This has been episode 80 of Pinnacle FC.